We live under a system of government called Anarcho-Tyranny. And this person named Balaji says, in a declining empire, the law is powerless to help you, but it can still harm you. Why? Because it's easier to destroy than build. Burning a house is 1,000 times easier than building one. So a declining state has trouble building a bus lane, but it can still destroy someone's life. Look at this, Chief Wiggum. All right, fine. Let me tell you what I tell everyone or everybody who comes in here. The law is powerless to help you. I thought you said the law was powerless. Powerless to help you, not punish you. You see? And I highlighted some things here. So yes, the law is powerless to help you, but it can still harm you. And it does regularly. Look at the Trump situation and the Biden one. It's the same situation with these classified documents. Who do they go after? They go after Trump. They don't really do much with Biden. I think they searched his garage or something, but filed no charges, made very little media attention. But Trump, they went after him with the full force of the law. In fact, they sent a SWAT team to his home. That's an example of anarcho-tyranny. In simple terms, anarcho-tyranny is when the state stops upholding its end of the social contract to use its monopoly on violence for its own ends. You have to understand, the government has the monopoly on violence. They can harm us, but we're not allowed to harm them. Police can pull you over, beat you for no reason whatsoever. And that officer might lose his job. The department might get sued. And even if he loses his job at that department, he'll move on to another one. Also, if the police station gets sued, it comes out of taxpayers' money anyway. All right, so examples of anarcho-tyranny. All right, some good examples are when the riots broke out in Minneapolis, Washington, D.C., and other places. The police let the cities burn, all right? But they punished people for defending themselves, just like they did during the Rodney King riots. They arrested the Asians who stood on the rooftops defending their building from being burnt down. They were arrested. The rioters were not. The same thing that happened with Black Lives Matter. They were not arrested. The January 6ers were arrested. You see how this works? Like this. Fiery, but mostly peaceful protests after police shooting. Peaceful protest. You got to be crazy if you believe that. Buildings are burning down behind him. Yeah, like here. That's anarcho-tyranny in a nutshell. And in this situation in Uvalde, Texas, where the cops didn't go in to save the children, but they were arresting parents who wanted to go in and save their children. They just let the shooter do whatever he wanted to do. So the state doesn't enforce order by stopping the guy who's murdering school children, but does manage to tase, handcuff, and harass citizens actually courageous enough to help. That's how it works in our system. You know, what's his name? Daniel something. He took down a guy in a subway who was harming or preparing to harm people. And the guy died. You know, he choked him and he died, I guess. But Daniel gets arrested and he's facing prison time, you see, for doing what the law should be doing. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm going to shut down the virus. Sure, sure. All right, say the line, FBI, he was on our radar. And that's usually how it goes. Now they say there's small examples like public school that harshly enforces dress codes, but can't figure out why their students can barely read and then they still graduate them. Or cops go after people, speeding, but they let a meth lab still exist. You know what I mean? All right. So there's a lot more examples of this. You can even find them in everyday life, really. Like this. It took San Francisco 27 years and $300 million to build a bus lane. But there's homeless people in the town. There's people that need this $300 million. But they build a bus lane instead. Or the Pentagon spends $1.7 trillion on an F-35 fighter jet. It's obsolete because of drones. You see, just wasteful spending. Causes of anarcho-tyranny. One is a declining empire, really. And we're in that. We're in a declining empire. One that is fallen. It says here, one is a lack of funding. The idea of getting rid of government programs is politically unfeasible, so politicians simply cut funding until they magically go away. And then police are told that they need to bring in a certain number of speeding tickets or they don't get paid. So they start just blitz screening the neighborhood. And if they need extra money or they need something, they'll start robbing people of their homes using civil forfeiture laws. They do this quite a bit, and they have the legal right to do it, which I don't believe they do. But so they failed to defund the police, and then cops still behave badly, but they don't do anything about shoplifters who come in with a garbage bag and just fill it up with stuff. They let them go. But they'll go after somebody else, maybe somebody who doesn't pay their taxes. Because under anarcho-tyranny, it's if you do something to offend the government, they'll come after you. If you do something to harm another person, you'll get let out on no cash bail. You see. All right, there's all kinds of stories here, like post 9/11 mentality. Like every police department has a SWAT team. They all do. They're everywhere. Ready to destroy someone's life if they don't comply with something or other, like don't mow their grass. So I try to find a bunch of examples of anarcho-tyranny, but some of the leftists get in there and try to say it doesn't exist or it's a conspiracy theory, but that's not true. It does exist, and it is for real. And you can find all sorts of examples if you just look. They're there. So anyway.